Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, welcome. I'm Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, and I told you, I guess I lied, that I was done with showing you the decks in my collection as, you know, at the end of 2020, but I did find some stragglers. They are all mass market, but it is a combination of oracle and tarot decks, and I'll have to do a video where I keep all my decks, and you'll understand why they're stragglers. So without further ado, the first one that I missed that wasn't in any other video, that should have been in the Llewellyn video, my Llewellyn decks video. You could see that on my playlist, my decks for 2020, my deck collection for 2020. So this should have been in there, and this is the Vivid Journey Tarot by Jessica Allaire. I picked up this deck. It was brand new in packaging at my local half-price books for $7.99, and it was very early in my tarot journey. Great deck. It's got the good, magnetic clasp opening with a book, and you can get a sample of the illustrations here. So nice packaging, you know, typical Llewellyn. But for $7.99, you can see it's a really good value. I'll move that over to the side. So I did use this quite a bit when I got it, and then, you know, I started finding out about other decks. I put this in order so you could get an idea. If you are a beginner and just looking, trying to research decks to get, and these are the backs, this would be a great one. If you are not resonating with the RWS deck, maybe that's your first deck, or it's not resonating with you. Maybe something about Pixie's artwork, you know, not everybody loves it. This is a great one, a little bit more simplistic or minimalistic in the images, but you still get everything pretty much that's in a traditional RWS deck. There's a little bit of nudity, cartoon nudity in here, but, and I will say this cardstock is probably older Llewellyn cardstock. It doesn't feel like that their newer coated deck. It feels a little more matte, a little more papery, you know. I'll use it to describe this cardstock, but it's not super flimsy. It's decent. And I got it for $7.99, so it's totally worth that price. But you can see everything that you need to learn tarot, and maybe, you know, some of us might need stripped down imagery to get it while we're learning. So anything that you could get off the RWS, you can get here with just in a simpler package. He is kind of a cheesy devil though, isn't he? Yeah, a little more cartoonish, but still I think it's a very cute deck. I like that sun. And it does come with a complete, and this is sweet, very simple, but yeah, you get the meaning. Very, very simple, but I think it's a great, great, great beginner's deck. And I do think this is still available on Amazon. I will look, and if I can find it, I will put a link to it in the description box. And just a quick look at the book so you can see what you're getting. I'm going to zoom up again. It's got glossy paper in the book, so you get tarot basics, talk about the suits, the numerology, and then you go into the major arcana. And you see, look at all this information you get. I mean, typical Llewellyn. And you get a nice big picture. And this is almost, yeah, this is just about the size of the actual card itself. The card's a little bit taller, but the same width. So again, you don't need to take your cards in bed with you while you're reading this in bed and have your cards spill over. I don't remember if there's spreads in here. I can't remember, so we'll just take a look really quick. It doesn't look like there is, but still. Great information, great set if you're a beginner. And that's the Vivid Journey Tarot by Jessica Allaire. The next deck that I missed, and I don't know how I missed this one because I love this deck, is the Affirmators Tarot. Can't remember who publishes. Oh, Knock Knock. So if you're familiar with the Affirmators Oracle decks, they have several, then you're familiar with their line of decks. But this is really, really nice production quality, and it's not that expensive. I think I pre-ordered it and it was under $20. But it's like a linen finish on the box. You know, it's textured. And you get a sampling of the cards. And even though it's not a magnetic closure, it's a clamshell closure. Pretty book. And these are a little bit bigger than standard tarot. Actually, they're a lot bigger because you can see you're getting into oracle, you know, sized cards here. But this is a bright, colorful, oh, here are the backs. It does have the, you know, the title back here, but it doesn't bother me for this type of deck. You know, it's whimsical, it's fun, but the cardstock, you get this great linen, sturdy cardstock, very easy to shuffle. But you see, this is a substantial deck. Very brightly colored. It's whimsical, animal, creatures. Let me get a little bit further down. I use this deck to read for my teenage niece. I use it for, it's kind of a little bit of a hug deck for me. It'll certainly tell you what you need to know, but it does it in a soft, gentle way. I'm kind of a monkey see, monkey do here. But you can see it's just a great deck. It's fun. This I would suggest for a tarot newbie, maybe a teenager, preteen. Great gift. And it's also, I don't want to say novelty, but it could be a tarot novelty. Something if you're a professional reader, to have along with you with people who maybe you go to a party or something and they're a little bit more hesitant with regular, you know, tarot imagery. This is a great deck to have on hand. And you see the beautiful colors that the death card is in. The color palette is just bright and vibrant. I love the sun. And it's a great, inexpensive mass market deck to have. I mean, look. It's a deck for those of us who still have a lot of kid inside of us. Yeah, this brings out the 12-year-old in me. And that's okay. We need to hold on to a bit of our, the kiddiness. All right, so just to show you the guidebook really quick, it's just a little white book. You get a small picture of some of the cards, but not all of the cards, as you can see. You do get a little mantra with each card, which is cool. but you don't really get like keywords or reversed keywords in the book. You get some card layouts, you know, spreads, just a 1, a 3. And yeah, very, very basic information. There's the author, Susie Barrett. And yeah, great, great deck. Highly would recommend. Next, I have a sweet little oracle deck, more of an affirmation deck. It's Sea Melodies, Enchanting Messages from the Mermaids by Jessica Lee. And it should have been in my US Games video. So it's a nice magnetic opening, closing box. And very simple. You get these beautiful backs though. Just beautiful. It is a glossy cardstock. And all the cards are the same, but they have their, you know, a different message. Rescue, help others in need, or ask for assistance when you need it. Listen, the secrets of the sea become apparent when we listen to the sound within the shells. Change, know when to move to a new shell, especially if yours no longer fits. Kind of calling to the hermit crabs. If your kids or if you yourself had them, I know my kids did for a while. Choose wisely, be discerning. You don't have to keep everything in your net. Chance, allow the sea to wash its chest of wonders ashore. You never know what the tide may bring in. So you see, it's got these nice little messages that you can use just as a daily card pull, or if you want to open and close a reading with a soft, positive message. I think these type of decks or affirmation decks are quite useful for that, especially if you've done a reading for someone that's, you know, kind of on the harder side. It's just nice to have these type of decks to end or open up a reading. And yeah, just to pull out, put on your mantle, your dresser, your altar. And as you chart the course of your day. So that is the Sea Melodies Oracle deck, Messages from the Mermaids by Jessica Lee. Next we have an oracle, the Shaman's Oracle by John Matthews and Will Kingham. Oracle cards for ancient wisdom and guidance. I picked this up at my local half-price books. It was a cool $7.99, and I was turned on to this deck. It just caught my eye in the cabinet because I watch Kelly Fitzgerald's channel, The Truth and Story, as I'm sure many of you do as well. Great channel. And I know this is one of her favorite oracle decks. I think she has I believe this is the older packaging or iteration of this deck. I think they have updated the imagery on the packaging. This is a pull-out box, and this edition was published in 2013. I think there's a newer edition of this. So there's a book, and then there's kind of one of these spread papers. And it comes in this, you know, nestled in this box with an insert that isn't closed, so the cards can go sliding in. But for $7.99, you know. Let me know if you have this deck. If there's, if the cards are different now. I think they are. I think this is the older version and they have reprinted it. But I haven't had the chance to use it yet. These are different archetypes and spirits, and they are all grouped together. And you can tell by the color the borders change color according to their grouping. Haven't worked with it yet, so I can't tell you how it reads, how it works, but I haven't had it that long. But I know Kelly Fitzgerald loves it, so I needed to try it, needed to get it because she loves this deck. And it was so affordable, you know, I couldn't pass it up. Let me know in the comments if you have this deck and how it has worked for you. It does. The system has me intrigued. It's got very minimalistic, you know, like cave drawings is the aesthetic of the artwork. And you can see, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. You can see the suit, so we've got an antler there. And then we've got another shamanistic tool there for this suit and something else here. Yeah, I haven't looked at the book really, just kind of flipped through it and put it in order. So I'm very curious and keen to work with this deck. And just to show you the book, you do get a colored picture. You get interpretation, so like keywords here, and then something about the card. And you also get a sort of affirmation and mantra. I'm going to see, you do get some how to do a reading with this, meanings of the certain suit, the caves, understanding the shaman's universe, you know, understanding the glyphs. So here is how they are separated: spirits, ancestors, shamans, hunters, dancers, companion, and journeyer. So it's got its own system. It's an oracle with an oracle deck with a system. So I am keen to try to work with it. So that is the Shaman's Oracle by John Matthews and Will Kingham. The next deck is the Good Tarot. Now this should have been in my Hay House video, but I missed it. This deck is kind of put aside. I'm ashamed to say that I have bought and sold this deck 2 or 3 times. And if this deck has been around for a while, and I think many of you have had this deck at one time and then probably traded it away because it's nice, what they call nice tarot. It kind of goes its own way. It's by Colette Baron Reed with illustrations by Jenna Della Grataglia. I hope I'm pronouncing her name. She often works with Colette Baron Reed. So it's this digital collage working, and you know, it's got beautiful backs though. And I think the collage, I love so many of these images, but this one I do not. But maybe it fits. He looks like St. Nicholas to me, or Santa Claus. So maybe that's why they picked him as the magician. Santa Claus certainly is magical. The one thing, these cards stick. I do like the High Priestess. I do like many of these images, but they have been, especially, they've been renamed. A lot of the cards have been renamed, and when you get into the suits, you know, I find that a lot of them don't really fit with the traditional RWS system, and yet I keep buying and selling and buying. And I don't know why. I'm gonna hold on to it for a while because there must be a reason. There must be a reason that I I get rid of it, and then I feel like I should have it. And it's one of those decks that you love and hate, kind of. I mean, a lot of these images are so beautiful. So, you know, and see another, she renames the cards, but I think the imagery is so beautiful. I mean, look at this little girl. So, I mean, yeah, I haven't figured out what my relationship, again, another renaming, is going to be with this deck. So, yeah, you know, temptation instead of the devil. But she leaves the tower in there. It's a beautiful star. And these cards do stick. And, of course, this is the image on the box. And I love this image of the moon. The sun is kind of okay to me. You know, this is Judgment, but they named it Call. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've had a similar experience with this deck. Is it in your collection? Did you get rid of it as soon as you got it? It's just, I don't know. I may get rid of it eventually, but I'm going to hang on to it for now because there's a message in this that I feel that I need to have it, but then I don't like it. I can't really read with it. Maybe I need to try harder to read with it. Maybe I haven't, maybe there's a way I'm supposed to, like, how are you supposed to get the Five of Swords with a ballet dancer on point? You know? So, yeah. I guess it is what it is, but I can't seem to get rid of it entirely. Let me know what your experience has been with the Good Tarot. It's been very interesting for me. I don't know. Like I said, there must be a message in this deck somewhere for me. I just have to look harder. The next deck is another purchase from Half Price Books. I think this was like a $5.99 deck. Tarot, the Marseille Arcana, brand new edition from the original deck. New illustrations of the ancient instructions and history included in this deck. So it's a tuck box. This was published in 2017 by Flame Tree Publishing. And I can still find this deck at some of my half-price books. So it's just a little white book that you get with this deck, of course. Now this is very like almost like that Xanta playing card stock that I know my Painted Tarot is in, and maybe if you have the Textured Tarot, I think. Not quite that thick, but kind of along that lines. It feels that way, more closer to cardboard than paper, I would say. And you can see it's a chunky deck. But it's a simple Marseille deck. This was the first Marseille deck I ever got. I haven't used it, but I got it because I knew I would eventually want to delve into Marseille, and it was inexpensive, so I picked it up. I have since picked up two other Marseille decks, the Marshmallow Marseille and the Tarot de Sarine by Wandering Oracle. Those two little pocket Marseille decks, which I like better. But this is, you know, if you're just delving into Marseille, this is, oh, those are the backs. I think they're quite pretty. Traditional Marseille imagery. Let me know if you have this deck or if you've seen it in your travels. Yeah, it's just, I can't say anything really wonderful or bad about it because I haven't really worked with it. But that is a goal for 2021, is to start delving into Marseille and see if that can enhance my reading style in any way, shape, or form. So this is the Tarot, the Marseille Arcana. Last but not least is the Guardian Angel Tarot cards, originally by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. I think Doreen Virtue's name has been taken off of any reprintings of this deck. I'm not sure if this is still in print. And I can't remember if I put this in my Hay House. Actually, it looks like it says Angel Therapy. Yeah, it's Hay House. I can't remember if I put it in my Hay House video, and because I can't remember, I'm going to put it here. So I apologize if this is a repeat, but many of you are familiar with this deck. I tend to use this deck more as an oracle. It's got a nice chunky book, by the way, and it does have a picture of the card. And it has additional meanings for each card. It's black and white. There are some spreads. There's a 3, and there's a Celtic cross. And yeah. So the reason I found this also at Half Price Books for about $7.99, I remember. And I've seen this deck on Katie Flowers' channel and a couple of other channels. People who love this deck. It has all the vintagey stuff that I love with the imagery. Victorian, Edwardian type artwork. It is edged in gold. I found this deck. It's in really, really good condition. It was opened, but it's, you know, really, it's in like new condition. So to me, this is more like an oracle deck. As you can see, not a traditional tarot deck. I don't use it as a tarot deck, but it's just something that you might like to pull before bed, pull at the start of your day. I love the imagery. I love the doilies, you know, the lace, the collaging. It's just super sweet to me. Yeah, it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't read well as a regular tarot, but it is a fantastic oracle. Yeah, I like everything about this imagery. But as you know, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I love old art decks. So I don't see this, and see, I like the details, the tea staining at the edge of the cards, and down here, the distressing, and it just really feels like a vintage card. I really, really love it. And the messages are good and soft. And that's sometimes what you need. It's a hug deck. So that is the Guardian Angel Tarot cards by Doreen, well, you know, Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video of the stragglers in my collection. These are the decks that were in my collection at the end of 2020 that I forgot to put in one of my other videos. So I promise you this is the last video in that series, my deck collection for 2020. So with that, let me know if you have any of these decks, what your experience with the Good Tarot has been, if you've seen like this one, the Vivid Journey Tarot. Let me know your experiences with any of these decks. Also, the Guardian Angel Tarot. Do you have that in your collection, and how do you use it? Do you read it as tarot? Let me know. I love to hear from you. And with that, I will leave you, and I will see you real soon. Until next time.